All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to talk about the Fallout creator Tim Kaine. So recently he just made a video talking about, do game developers know what gamers want? And this is a question that gets asked all the time. You guys know this. We talk about this almost every single day, where game developers seemingly ignore what gamers are asking for. Now, the funny thing is, this is a good conversation to have, and it's a good question to ask, but I feel like he is approaching this from a disingenuous standpoint, even if it's a slight disingenuous standpoint, where he knows that honestly, a lot of developers out there very much know what gamers want, and yet they're going to sit there and pretend that they don't know what gamers want. And then they're going to gaslight people and say, well, you don't know what you want, so how am I going to know what you want? And it's absolutely ridiculous, because every single day, gamers showcase with their wallets exactly what they're looking for.
Do devs know what gamers want? And here it is. No. No, we don't know what you want. We have no idea, seriously, what you want, because you don't know either.
So again, guys, we have this article from Phantom Pulse with a headline that reads, Fallout creator claims that video game developers have no idea what gamers want, and then blames gamers for providing bad feedback. Absolutely wild stuff. So let's get into this article from Phantom Pulse. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it, and like the video to push us out into that YouTube algorithm. So Tim Kaine, one of the creators of Fallout, recently declared that video game developers and studios have no idea what gamers want, but then proceeded to blame gamers for providing bad feedback. In a recent upload to his YouTube channel, Kaine stated, I want to give you the raw, unfiltered response to, do devs know what gamers want? And here it is. No, we don't know what you want. We have no idea, seriously, what you want. I don't believe that to be true at all. I'm just being honest with you. I do not believe that to be true at all. Because even though some gamers obviously do not, showcase what they want in the best ways, or probably in the most fleshed out ways to make people understand clearly, at the end of the day, all you got to look at is statistics, right? You got to look at what people are actually spending their money on. It's very clear that gamers have a specific thing of what they want. It's just flat out good games that have great storytelling, minimal to no DEI, and just focus on the actual gameplay. They're looking for actual good, explorative gameplay, Twitch gameplay, depending on the kind of franchise that you're talking about, because every franchise has different gameplay and they're never going to go in between each other. They're never going to meld together, right? You're not going to have a Souls-like gameplay with a turn-based RPG. It's just not going to happen. So depending on the kind of franchise you're talking about, then you can kind of break it down and talk about exactly the kind of gameplay that people are looking for. But flat out, these developers do know what gamers want. These developers, most of these studios, have people that their entire job is understanding analytics and understanding their customer base. And they know who their customer base is. They do. The problem is that the developers choose to ignore it. The problem is that the studios choose to ignore who they know is their fan base, and they try to chase people who don't give a shit about them. That's really what it is. And they do so while alienating the fans that made them who they are in the first place. If they are in a already established studio, if they're not already an established studio, then they need to make themselves established one way or another, and they got to find their fan base. And the problem is that they end up trying to find their fan base after they make the game, instead of trying to tell themselves, okay, I'm going to aim for this fan base, and I'm going to base my gameplay around what that fan base likes. And if word of mouth spreads outside of that fan base, great, but at least I made this game for those particular kind of fans, and I'm going to start there. They don't do that. They make their game first, and they try to make it inclusive. They try to make it diverse. And then they do that. And then they say, okay, now we got to find our customers. What do you mean? You should have thought about who your customers were before you started making the game. But anyway, that's just a whole tangent. I could keep going on and on. Let's read what he's got to say. So it says, as for why he believes that game developers do not know what gamers want, he elaborated, here's the longer answer. And it's all kind of can be summed up as because you don't know either. He then explained, first off, many of you only tell developers what you hate. Great. You said what it is you don't want. But what is it that you want? When you keep saying, I hate this in games, I hate this feature, I hate these kind of characters and all that, great. What kind of characters do you want? If you hate sarcastic characters, well, there's an entire realm of non-sarcastic characters. But what is it that you want? Do you want funny characters? Do you want serious characters? Do you want characters with a lot of background? Do you want characters with very little that you don't want to spend a wall of time and a wall of text dialogue? What do you want? That's why you don't tell us what you want and not what you don't want. Bro, okay, flat out number one, that is absolute fucking cope, okay? That is 100% cope. I'm trying not to laugh, but that's really what it is. That is cope because people out here are telling you every single day what they want. Unfortunately, though, I don't know if you're doing this, Tim, but unfortunately, a lot of developers, people, your peers, your coworkers, a lot of them are ignoring the conversation that is happening in the public space right now, both online and otherwise. People are having these conversations and saying what it is that they like and saying what it is that they don't like. You are ignoring what people are saying they like. And let me not say you, because again, I don't know if Tim is this kind of ideological psychopath. I don't know that. But his peers are absolutely ignoring what people say they like because his peers don't like what people like. That's the problem. His peers do not like what the chuds like, right? His peers do not like what they consider to be alt-right content or alt-right gamers. They don't like it. So because they don't like it, they ignore it and they pretend as if nobody is saying anything. Of course, people are saying things. You're just not listening. That's the problem. Then again, people like on YouTube, like myself, we say what we like and dislike all the time. If you don't think I play video games, which a lot of my haters don't, is because they don't seek out the content of me playing video games. I have an alternative channel that has thousands of subscribers on it where I play video games 5 days a week, Monday through Friday for 2 hours every single day. I do it because I want to showcase transparency with the video game that I'm playing. I want my viewers to be able to look and see for themselves, to make up their own minds by watching me play the game that they didn't want to invest money in the beginning. They wanted to see what it was about, and unfortunately, they can't find out what it's about because you people who make the video games, all you talk about is how diverse it is, and you don't actually talk about what the game's about. And that's really what's very annoying. So at the end of the day, it gives me the ability to be transparent with people and say, okay, well, watch me play it, see if you like it, and then go from there. We've played good games, we've played bad games, but you guys do not seek out that kind of content and that kind of feedback because ultimately you don't want to hear the truth about the majority of the things that you do. You only want to hear the truth if it is positive, or at least positive by the standard definition of the word. He then noted that even if gamers do explain what they want, it's vague. Oh, it's vague. Even though we're being very specific most of the time about what we don't like and what we do like, we're very specific. No. He says we're vague. That's interesting. He said, even when you say what you want, you're often extraordinarily vague. You will say, I want a better game. I want better AI. I want a better UI. Yeah, I'll just slide the better slider from okay to great on all of those. If you don't say what you're talking about, it can be really vague. He reiterated. For example, what does better for you mean in a game? Oh, when you say, how is that AI bad? What are you talking about? Are they just running straight at you and not shooting? What do you mean? Bro, we literally say this all the time. When we were talking about Star Wars Outlaws, we specifically explained the issues with the AI and how absolutely fucking terrible it was, and how the fact that the stealth was ridiculously simple, and how it basically didn't matter. And when you were attacked by enemies, the enemies would ignore you. They would be shooting all the way in the other direction. And then when they finally shot at you, it didn't seem to do any damage. I mean, there was so many things that we talked about. I don't understand how people can say that, oh, it's vague. It's not vague. If it's vague to you, that means you're not listening properly. Then he says that when you say you don't like UI, what is the friction point in that UI that you're encountering? What is it that's bothering you? If you just say that UI is dumb, it's not helping. And trust me, it's not just gamers who do this. I've worked with people who've literally said that out of their mouth. They're like, that looks dumb. Great, I'll get right on that. He continued. Again, you're trying to be facetious and you're trying to make it seem as if people have to give you the actual fucking like numerical value over how bad things are in terms of game developer speak. Like somebody has to speak to you like a developer for it to matter. And if you're looking for that, you're not going to get much information from gamers. At the end of the day, you need to be able to speak to the people you're selling your product to. You need to be able to speak to them on their level and understand them on their level. And not everybody's going to speak like a game developer. So you have to listen to them and understand and read body language and truly get to know people and their issues. And if you can't do that, then perhaps you should not be speaking on behalf of game developers. Find somebody who can speak to gamers on their level and get valuable feedback that is out there ready for you to take. There is feedback out there that will absolutely help you if you just listen. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.